All right, we've had to redo our hatch. All right, we've had to redo our hatch. We had a little bit of discoloration going on right here from our old resin job that we did. It was starting to turn milky, so I needed to get that old resin off of there because it was improperly mixed in this section that I first put it on. But I didn't want a blotchy spot, so we decided to just redo the entire hatch. Took about an hour. I took the belt sander and I put a 50 grit belt on it, and I kind of took that first layer of epoxy resin off. I took my palm sander, I put a 60 grit on it, and then I started getting down to wood. Once I got it all off, I was down to wood. I came back with 120 grit and just kind of gave it a little smooth finish. If you have a smoother wood, your finish is going to come out a little bit better. Now, I went ahead last week and I washed all the sawdust off with all the sanding dust off with a water hose. So this has been clean. It's not spotless. It's not factory finish. We're not looking for that. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to put a base coat of epoxy resin on here, and I'm using Reka. I have a 2-to-1. So we put 2 parts resin to 1 part hardener. This is UV inhibited, so this will be this protects against any kind of sunlight damage so that it doesn't discolor the wood. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put 1 coat on here just to fill in the porous wood. We're going to let that go to almost hard. Then we're going to put the sheet of fiberglass on here, and then we're going to wet out our fiberglass. As long as you do your next layer of fiberglassing on top of your resin before it fully hardens, you'll get a chemical bond. So it'll be as if it's just one solid sheet of fiberglassing when it's done. Now, if we delay for some unknown reason, this goes hard for several days, we're going to have to come back and we're going to have to put a sand on it, and then that way we go for the mechanical bond to where we put some grip in there so that the next layer of resin we put on has something to bind to. Those are the 2 proper ways to do fiberglass resining. So let's go ahead and get started. covering this lid. Alright, we got our first filler coat on. As you can see, we sanded it down because it's been a week since we did that first coat. Now we're going to go ahead and put on the other 2 coats. It should be just 2 coats. We may have to go to a third if we don't like the way things are looking, but we're going to try to get all this done today. We'll see. We had 4 ounces of resin, 2 ounces of hardener. It's a 2-to-1 ratio.
And the cup's 0.5?
Now the cup was zeroed out, but 0.05 was just an extra couple of drops that fell in there. A little extra hardener is insurance. Make sure that it sets. Now we got 3 minutes of stirring, and then we'll pour it out and start rolling it. Taking a wet rag, we wipe down the exterior of this just to make sure that we got all the dust off of it. Inside the garage, we got an air conditioner going, and try to keep any kind of contaminants out of the way. Alright, the reason we had to go back and re-fiberglass the back hatch is because we had one spot right here where we mixed a bad batch of epoxy and it started getting cloudy on us. So we had an upcoming trip to Virginia and we agreed that we'll go ahead and fix this one spot before we make the trip. So we took the belt sander, we sanded it all the way back down to wood, ordered epoxy, ordered fiberglass cloth, and then what you just saw is us re-fiberglassing the entire back hatch. And I think it turned out pretty good. Now we don't have any cloudy spots. It's all nice and shiny. It's now reinforced with fiberglass cloth right here on the back hatch, and which we intended to fiberglass with cloth with the build, but we ran into the problem of mixing the epoxy wrong. We had to pull it off, and then we didn't reorder the cloth at the time. So went ahead and, yeah, long story short, we got the cloth and we reapplied the cloth. One of the other things that we talked about in a previous video is some of the upgrades we wanted to do while we had the camper out. And one of the things that we did do is we have now put in a silverware drawer. Bam, right here. Made of cherry wood to match the rest of the cherry that's in the build. Nice, sturdy, made of cedar, lightweight. It's on self-closing slides. We put these mats over here so the silverware doesn't bounce around along in the trip. We made a 2,000-mile trip. The doors stayed shut. Silverware didn't bounce around, worked just fine. And then we made a larger slide-out cabinet right down here where we put our coffee pot and then all of our other stuff that we had in a Rubbermaid tote that we just slid in and out of that. So now the Rubbermaid tote's gone. We've done this. We've still got to build one more. We're going to get rid of this curtain over here. And we're going to put a same drawer front, you see right here, a modification of that is going to go over here also. And then we'll get rid of that curtain, and that stove and oven combo will be on slide. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for following us. If you're not already a subscriber, we invite you to hit the subscribe button and like the video. And follow us along as we bring you other adventures along on YouTube. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, keep growing, keep building, and always keep adventuring. Together, we're Formally Famous. See you next time.